Welcome back to the Cousin Collective. I'm your girl Monay,
And I am your girl, Capree. What up?
and thank you for joining us for another episode. Thanks for sticking with us, y'all, and supporting us. And
Mm-hmm. All for the street, y'all. We love y'all. I mean, shoot, people got to start somewhere.
well, yeah, they
Okay.
do. Hey, we
Start
got one more
somewhere.
subscriber, so hey, that's
We sure
progress.
do. We sure do. Shoot.
I like your
So,
glasses, by the way.
thank you, boo. I finally, oh, yeah, we did talk about my struggle glasses the last time. And yes, I have some glasses your girl can see. They are not pressing on my sinuses. I have my look, check the nose pads out. Check it. See the nose pad? You see the nose pad? Y'all ain't ready.
It's amazing what's important to us as adults,
For real.
you know?
Cause I just I knew there was a possibility that I wasn't gonna like the glasses that I had the last time, but I stood beside them because in that moment when I was looking, I you know how you just for one, I don't like to shop for me. I like to shop for stuff for either other people or for the house or craft supplies, stuff like that. But like me specifically, clothes and stuff, I don't accessories, I don't necessarily like to shop for me. So I got burned out easily. And I guess in the scheme of things, I should have started on this side of the store versus this side of the store. Then I would have found these glasses sooner, but it took for me breaking the other ones to get these because honey, I still would have been rocking them like y'all see me doing this in all the videos, trying to keep them up, push them up off my sinuses. Yeah, that was struggle. So
Well, they look great.
thank you, thank you, thank you,
And I'm
thank
glad you
you,
feel better.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember a few episodes ago, we talked about doing what we wanted to do. So your girl finally did it.
Yes, we just celebrated a birthday.
Now I'm
Church
gonna tell
cake.
you, this is it. So if I ever take it out,
Mm-hmm.
if it ever falls out and it closes up,
Not doing it again.
I'm not.
Why?
Now I've never been to a tattoo shop where there were Asians.
Mhm.
That was new to me.
Oh, wow, they tattoo. I mean, not that sounds so racist.
It does.
But you don't typically see them
You
in
don't
that
see
arena.
it.
Not like a whole. So it's like a whole shop, like going to a nail shop, and it was like a whole.
Girl, so listen, the whole shopping center was a tattoo shop,
Mhm.
a nail salon, and a psychic place.
They doing psychic reading too. Shut, girl, listen.
A
If some a
one-stop shop,
business,
okay?
they gonna get what they gonna get when they get it, honey.
But listen, they had the highest reviews in the area.
Hmm.
They had, I saw the star reviews and then people talking about them and stuff like they really recommended these people. But it was so weird because when I called to make the appointment and I couldn't really understand what they said when they first answered the phone. So I looked at the phone like,
I called the right
did I call? This might sound so terrible, but I promise you, y'all, I love all people. But I was like, hey, did I call a Chinese restaurant?
We gonna
I was
get some
like,
flat
yeah,
foot.
do you do tattoos and piercings? It was odd. But
I mean, I'd probably be like,
I will say though, what I did appreciate was their whole technique and cleanliness and
mhm.
sanitation. Like it was top notch. It was top notch. It's the best I've ever seen, ever.
Listen,
And my
they gonna
mom went
find
with
a
me, and she,
market.
huh?
They gonna find a market, honey.
Heck yeah,
They gonna find a thriving market, and they gonna tap, tap, tap in.
yes. But I loved it. It was very clean in there, and it
Wow,
wasn't a
that's
whole lot of
important.
people. And he didn't play that like when I had to sign my paperwork. He
Mhm.
would like sanitize your hands before you touch that pen.
We ain't. I don't care what the governor say.
He was like, But it
Wow.
was nice, but it hurt like a mug. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's because I had my nose pierced on this side before, if it's scar tissue. I know the first time I had my nose pierced, it was like the long needle. This
Hmm.
time it was a little itty bitty needle. So it felt like it took him forever to get
Probably.
through.
Probably.
Whew, I was kicking
Now,
and
was it like just the length of it, or was it the width of it? Because the width of it might have been
I
the
didn't I
reason
didn't
too.
even really pay attention to the width
Oh,
compared to
okay.
what I remember before. I
Okay.
just remember before I was sitting up
Hmm.
in a chair in front of the mirror, and it was this long needle, and they put it through my nose and was like, hold on, turned around and got the nose ring. And then, and so I'm just looking at this long needle in my nose. This time he had me lay down on a chair,
Hmm.
turned my body, had a light over my head. Mm-hmm. Almost like how you do when you get your eyebrows done.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I was turned to the side and he was on the opposite side of me and he was holding my head down in my body. And yeah, it was different. It just hurt like a, you know what?
I was telling Khalil's girlfriend, I was like, 'cause he went and got his tattoo. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you get, Khalil getting tattoos, she getting her nose pierced. And I was telling her how, you were telling me, you mentioned that the other day, and I was like, well, we'll talk about it later. But I was like, she did. I mentioned that, you said it didn't feel good, and she said that same thing happened to her.
It hurt her too.
So I wonder if
I don't know.
I said, well,
All I
that's
know is
fine.
I wanted another type of piercing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, we
that
got
part is
that.
more tender and I can't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I told you when I was in going to school for CNA, and in our on our classes, we all got on this piercing discussion because it was just like a class full of women, and a teacher was really cool, and one of the one of the girls had said she had went and got her pierced, her clitoris.
I don't understand that piercing.
I mean, they explained it. I just can't. No, absolutely not. Not for me. I just don't enjoy inflicting pain on myself to that capacity. I remember getting my second ear pierced, and I was probably like 8 or 9. I acted like a fool. My family walked away, left me sitting there. I remember that. And I just remember it. And I might have been a little extra because I was 8 or 9. But I'm good. I do want a
The
little
gun is much
tattoo. I still
quicker.
want
It's
my
them
tattoo though.
needles, man.
Yeah. I still
And
want
I
that
got a
little
juicy
tattoo on the
nose.
end of my on my finger,
I'll do a tattoo. I
but that's
can't.
it.
I got a juicy nose too, so that might have been part of it. He was like, "Dang, got all this meat to go through."
You're so stupid. But it could have been the gauge of the needle as
Yeah,
well, because the gauge is the width of the needle. And I don't necessarily think it's necessary for you to have a long needle when you're not going that deep into something. But it was probably a thinner needle, which I
the
could
last time.
see this time.
That will make it more painful.
It could be. I mean, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about blood. Anyway, yeah, it was probably a thinner needle last time than it was this time. And I mean, even though it was longer, but it was probably thinner than this time. But yeah, the
I
gauge
ain't
might have
doing it no
been.
more. I better keep this one up and don't let nothing happen to it, cause that's it.
So how
I'll be
long do you
wearing a
have to
fake one.
keep? Like, do you have to? How do you just leave it in there? You take it. Do you have to take it out to clean it, or what do you do?
They gave me a spray cleaner
Okay.
to clean every night.
Okay. So you just spray it and you don't take it out.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I have to read the paper with how long I got to keep this in before I can switch it out.
Okay.
Because I do like the hoops, but because of the type of job that I have, I try to be professional because I have to be on camera with people a lot.
Mhm.
I'd rather have this for work
Because
purposes,
it's
and
not
then
noticeable. Not as
yeah,
noticeable.
yeah.
So
I can imagine if I come up in there with a hoop on, and they'd be like,
And then some people get those, they'll replace them temporarily if their job is tripping with little,
Mm-hmm.
like little wicks.
Yeah.
But I can imagine how that.
Listen, I was talking to somebody recently about the nipple piercing, and
Mhm.
that person told me how long it took to heal.
How long?
Almost 2 years.
Something was that. There's got to be more to that story.
No, the piercer told her it could take, months to like a year and a half. It just depends on the person.
For your
Yes.
nipple piercing, for the nipple to heal after the piercing, girl, bye. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And when she described the amount of pain that it was to get it done,
Mm. Cousins, who out there has had their nipple pierced? What was your experience? Let us know. I'm not. This is totally not for me to go and determine if I'm gonna get one. I just want to know because not. Absolutely not. I wouldn't feel nothing anyway. But that's a whole other
because ain't
story.
nobody gonna tell us their business like that.
Mm-hmm. What we
Listen,
talking about?
but when I was in a tattoo shop, so they have pictures everywhere of different piercings or whatever. That's literally their wallpaper is pictures of all piercings and
Wow.
tattoos. And so you see, the girls' nipples.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom was like, why would anybody take a picture and show their face? And I was like, but you don't see their face, you just see their boobs. And she was like, turn around. Girls that they're like,
So I'm gonna do it for the ground.
like, okay, you want everybody to see your face. Yeah,
Mm,
it was
mm,
different.
mm. Wow.
Yeah.
People live
So
a
I
life
finally
where they
did it.
don't. Yeah, some people live a life career because I mean, all it really, all that stuff only really matters depending on what type of career you're into. But some people, don't have to worry about that type of stuff because they don't have a career that's gonna, you know, be looking into that type of stuff. Or some of them might just be entrepreneurs and they do what they want to do. The freedoms.
Go off, sis.
Okay. But we all got the same darn things, just different
Yeah.
shapes and sizes. I done seen them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And that is because I come from a clinical background, people. Not
She
because
lying, y'all. She used to work in a strip club and she used to be a pimp.
girl, I'm gonna have to come up with a strip name.
She
Come
used
up
to be a pimp, she had,
I would probably
a
make a better
lineup.
pimp. For my personality, I would be a better pimp, especially with the negotiations. You know what I mean? But girl, yeah, I remember telling you about the craft store that I saw on TikTok. I think it's in LA or California somewhere, and it was owned by Asians, and it was like a warehouse, and I was like, okay, you see a market and you tapping into it.
Yeah.
Mm,
They don't hold back.
mm-mm. I wish our people could be that quick to be able to jump on things. I'm gonna tell you, if I
They
had,
slowly but surely stepping it up now with these hair
yeah,
stores and stuff. Like
yeah,
I'm
it's
I'm
it's
pretty
it's,
proud.
it's gonna be hard because they dominate the hair
Yeah.
industry. So that's they are the gatekeepers of that. So
They truly are.
I've seen stories where, and then we can move on, where women have tried to open up stores and they couldn't get certain products because they were blocked by certain Asians over, in the other countries or whatever that, you know. So it runs deep. It runs deep because owning a store don't necessarily mean that we are, you know what I mean? They're still, a lot of them are the vendors.
Yeah.
So
Majority.
the majority, yeah. So that's where we need to be. I think we need to get more marketing, not marketing, Jesus, manufacturing Black people owning them, actually creating it,
Hmm.
making the product from
Yeah.
scratch. So being the source.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That makes
that's
sense.
gonna take time. That's
We'll
gonna
get there.
take time. So what's going on?
So today we're gonna talk about something It's gonna make you think a little bit. Um, it's about knowing the difference between a person being perfect to you versus perfect for you. Knowing the difference between a person being perfect to you versus perfect for you.
Elaborate.
Perfect to you is your ideal person. What you, let's say, I like a man that, this is an example. When women want a man with a job and a car or a certain status, financial status, or to look a certain way, to not have children, to not have been married before, so on and so forth. That's perfect to you. Perfect for you is how they can complement you, which is where we sometimes fall short, right? Because the complimenting to you, complimenting you is, I don't want to call it your weaknesses, but your weaknesses, if that makes sense, right? How they enhance you as a person being with you. And it's not just tangible things like your personality, Right. So so just knowing the difference between a person being perfect for you, which is our desires, right? The upfront desires versus being perfect to you. And sometimes the person that you think is perfect for you, perfect to you is not perfect for you.
That's true.
He can have all the things, but does he really complement you?
Strengthen your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And
Which
like
I
you said,
think is
and
why
compliment you. Huh?
This is which I think is why a lot of people say sometimes opposites attract.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because they complement those weaknesses.
I agree. I mean, I don't have much to piggyback off of because that's the thing, but it's some people are so caught up in, like you say, the idea of what someone is. Everyone has um that list, right? That list of things that they want in a person, but they're not understanding in a person.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these lists don't really state what you want in a person.
Mm-hmm.
Is what you want a person to look like. It's surface stuff. Look like I said, the money. And I'm not saying none of that stuff is important, but it should never be the top of your list. It should just be, I think everyone probably wants someone that's easy on the eyes, but you may not. But then at the same time, what some people may think is unattractive, someone else is going to feel is beautiful because they get to know that person.
Yeah.
And once you get to know someone, it's like they're the most beautiful, thing ever. And that's why they say, beauty is skin deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the eye of the beholder.
Yep.
So, I agree. Like, we have to really, I think about Married at First Sight. I wish you was watching that. Because that is exactly why that one girl, I cannot think of her name off the top of my head. I don't ever really care to remember her name. I think her name is Chrissy or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe his name is Chris. I don't know. But anyone who's watching Married at First Sight this season knows what I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about. But, they match people up based on, their characteristics, the things that they, their strengths and weaknesses, and they want to, compliment, like you say, compliment each other. They should compliment each other. It's not always going to be because you have a washboard stomach or you have blue eyes and whatever, or gray eyes or whatever, or you're tall, dark, and handsome, whatever. And that was her thing. She's so focused on this. He's a very nice guy. He's a very cute, and he just seems like the sweetest person he could be, at least as much as we could see on TV. She wouldn't give him a chance from day one after they walked down the aisle. And it was so sad because all it was that she wasn't physically attracted to him because her psychic told her that her soulmate or her husband or whoever will have this particular type of tattoo. Girl, it was, oh, that's a red flag anyway.
Yes.
But
But you know what,
she missing out on someone that could be good for her because she's so self-absorbed and superficial.
and the perfect for you part, sometimes people do not want to be held accountable, right? So let's say my weakness is being shit, I don't know.
Okay, you have a weakness.
I know, but I can't think of it.
Say your weakness is,
My weakness is I am an over giver.
okay.
CJ, he's a giver, but he's not an over giver. So he brings me that balance, right? But I enjoy giving, but I'll give so much to a person where I don't have nothing left for myself, right?
Yeah, no.
So if I wasn't willing or open to someone helping me balance that out, right? Then I could easily push him away. Like, you keep trying to change me. You know what I'm saying? So I think we have to also be open to being held accountable for whatever our weaknesses are, and that person balancing us out.
Especially when it affects you in your relationship. Because I mean, I know one of my exes was like that, and I was just like, we're gonna did that. Like, he was always willing to just, somebody call, no matter who it was, and it didn't have to be family.
Yeah.
Always giving them money, sending them money, and it's like, you know, because they know that they can call you and you can rescue them. At this point, it's a continual, it's a cycle of you rescuing these people, because they don't want to be held accountable to save their money, to change their spending habits, what say you, whatever. And it's like, when are you going to pull back, and what are you afraid of? Them getting upset? Well,
right,
they're not your responsibility to that level, literally calling you about stuff, and it's like the same stuff all the time. So yeah, I can see that.
You were his balance, or tried to be his balance, right?
Yeah.
And some people push back on that. It's like,
yeah,
you're trying to change me, but you're supposed to complement each other and balance each other out.
Because it's like, at this point, you're being taken advantage of, but you can't see that.
Yeah. So I never thought about like relationships in this way, you know, until my dad actually was the one who brought this up to me and made this statement. I was like, yo, really? I never thought about it like that. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, you know, people say, I've heard it before, but people just don't ever really, I feel like people live in denial. You know, we usually term it in the whole grass ain't green on the other side type situation.
Yeah.
And, you know, you see this man or this woman, you know, you see it all the time. You see this person who is doing their part in a relationship, and is this the person may, or let's just say it's the woman, because you know, because I'm a woman, from a woman's standpoint, you're doing all that you know you can in this relationship, as much as you know, right? And it's still not good enough for him, but then he leaves and wants to go to the person that is usually someone younger, someone a different body style, or whatever, and it's usually a superficial reason.
Yep.
Or if it's not a superficial reason, it's because something he failed to communicate with you. And that's not in every relationship, but it's in a lot. A lot of people stray away from their relationships because they didn't communicate what they needed from each other. So now you're in a relationship playing a guessing game. No one's a mind reader. Yes, I do believe that it's important for you to pay attention to your mate, and that's on both ends, to pay attention, to learn them or whatever, pay attention when you're having discussions, picking up on stuff, versus the whole interview. What's your favorite color? What kind of chicken you like? What kind? You'll learn these things over time. Like, for instance, Khalil, he likes his cheeseburgers with cheese and bacon, no ketchup, no mustard, no nothing. I know this because I've realized over time that this is how he orders his food. He doesn't have to tell me. I know when he orders, just whatever, so it's
Yeah.
just those are the things, those are the ways that you can learn other people, being observing of their, conversation, through conversation or their actions or what have you. And, people don't want to do that. People don't want to do that. And
Nope.
so but then at the same time, there are things that you can't necessarily convey through actions, or something might be bothering you, or maybe you have changed through the relationship, and now there's something that you used to not want or desire in someone, and now you do, but you never had that communication with that person. Well, that's not gonna end well. And
Yeah.
then you're playing the mind game crap, and you don't understand me crap, and you're not just being straight up. And then honestly, that could make either one of y'all stray, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's again, communication's foundation of any relationship. And I mean
It
real
is.
communication. People think, no, talking. We talk. No, 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 no. Not just talking. People, you have to really dig deep. Like, and you want to, I know we talked about learning people's past and stuff before, because I feel like someone's gonna bring that up. You said you don't want to know about nobody past, and I'm still not talking about that. I'm still talking about them as a person, right? But if it has something to do with the type of like I said, if it has something to do with how you are as you exist in a relationship, to me, yeah, I need to know that, because that's only going to help me be able to be a better person for you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What people call it, the triggers, things that
You need to
trigger
know
a person to
triggers.
act this way or act that way.
Yeah, what makes you
Mhm.
smile? What makes you sad? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't have to have those conversations to see it. Sometimes you can just, existing with that person, spending time with that person, you can,
Paying
pick up
attention,
on it. Yeah. But
being connected to
yeah.
the person that you're with,
Mm-hmm.
not just existing.
Mm-hmm. And having real conversations,
Yeah.
not surface conversations. Being able to be vulnerable and open.
Yep. And so I think also this is a question to ask oneself when deciding if you want to be with a person long term. Is this person perfect for me or just perfect to me? Like, for real.
People can be perfect to someone in other ways, as just like I say, just surface. Like, oh, I know it can be all like the cutesy little things. You always do the cutesy little things. I think it's also layered, because but once you go beyond that, it's like, bruh, I need you to actually be more supportive. I need you to, be able to, if I'm going off on a tangent, be able to know how to talk to
Bring me
me
back
and
in.
bring me back in, So
Yep.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So that is something to think about.
Yep.
When choosing a mate. Might. I don't think I said that.
Not the accent.
I tried. I'll be trying. Go get me a
So,
pint.
with that being said, do you think that married people can be friends with single people or take advice from single people?
You're married. You tell me.
I think so, but I think there needs to be a balance. I think that, I think there needs to be a balance, because now I don't think that single people cannot pour into a married person. I do not believe that, because I think it all boils down to wisdom and the person's intentions, right? If you're a single person and you hate the fact that I'm married, then your advice to me is your intentions are always going to be negative when you're pouring into me, or when you're just hanging with me or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I think we know when a person is not positive. You just have to be honest with yourself. But I do believe that there needs to be a balance. because some people have, you know, they have not always had a certain example in their life on how to be married,
Right.
right? So whenever you connect yourself with other married people, you share nuggets.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to always be deep or too
Right.
detailed, sharing your business if you don't want to share your business. But yeah, I think it's very important to have the balance, but I do not think it's necessary to X out all single people in your life. I've heard that term so much, or that phrase so much in the beginning of my marriage. You don't need to be friends with single people. You being friends with single people is going to mess up your marriage and destroy your marriage. Well, if I allow it to, then that's my problem. But again, that comes with knowing if someone really has positive intentions for your life. You don't need no people in your life anyway.
Period.
But yes, I believe that there needs to be a balance for sure.
I agree. I'm single, been single, never been married, and every last one of my friends is married. Um, I was telling you one time before, a while ago, that I'm not say I'm not really getting my. I used to get in my feelings when people would say that. It's like I feel like it's an attack on someone. Like I get, I respect marriage. It's is what it is, but don't put me to the side because I'm not married, right?
Yeah.
That's like church folk getting saved and forgetting where they came from, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's almost like, again, don't act like you're better than me because you're
Yeah.
married. And that is
Mm-hmm.
that's a vibe that does come off with some people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's about wisdom. I do believe that for me, the discussions that I've had with any married person, it spoke to that person. Because yes, you are a married couple, but you're also individuals. Your
Person, yeah.
individuality is what's coming out in that marriage.
Yep.
So we're speaking to your character and who you are. Now,
Mm-hmm.
can I give a experience on being married? Absolutely not. And that's where you say the balance comes in. I do believe it's important for married couples to have other married friends because, like you said, they can give, the feedback or whatever. That's like me being a woman, but I'm also a mother. I can give nuggets to other mothers because I experienced that. But to act like, I used to have a friend who husband was like, she's single and blah blah blah. But you the one doing the damage to your relationship, not me. And another party is the other thing that I hear about with men, because to be honest, I used to hear it a lot from the men. And from my standpoint, this is not always the situation, but from where I was sitting and trying to understand why do you think this way, it was always because your little single friend gonna have you out in the clubs doing whatever. It was insecurity. Your
Yes.
insecurities have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
The
I was
problem,
gonna say that. Like, I think it has to do a lot with that. Cause I was
yeah.
just sitting here thinking, like, we've gone out, let's say we've gone out with like the cousins,
Mhm.
right? They're not married, but I know how to still conduct myself
Right.
to where
That's
I'm not in some dude face trying to
right.
give him my number or lead a club with him or
Right.
whatever. Like, I could still go out with single people and still
Mhm.
conduct myself in a respectful way to my marriage while
Mhm.
having a good time.
Mhm. Or in some cases, I've seen where the husband had the hots for the friend.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Now,
Yeah.
me as a person, I respect marriage. I'm At the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here and act like my my girls, family or not, ain't going I ain't gonna stand beside them because I'm gonna stand beside them probably first. Not probably. I'm gonna stand beside them first. But I'm gonna always be supportive of whatever the situation is.
Mhm.
You know, if one of my friends come to me right now and said, I'm getting a divorce, and this is why, okay, whatever you need from me, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to encourage it. I'm going to encourage you to do your best. I mean, shoot, I didn't encourage. Let me shut it. Listen, it's subjective, and it also depends on the person. It depends on the type of friends you have. But all single people don't have it in for you in your marriage,
Right.
and
Right.
especially not this single one, because I don't care. I'm not looking to get married. I'm not.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not opposed to it. I respect it, but I have other things that are higher up on my desire list of desires. I used to just be like, I want to get married, but I'm not there anymore. And
Yeah.
I am perfectly fine with it. If it happens, it happens. But if it doesn't, guess what? She's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that I can't offer my life experience to my single friend, whether it's man or woman,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because of what my marital status is.
Yeah.
Because before you got married, the only thing that changed was your title and your
Yeah.
last name.
Mm-hmm. I'm
So
still Ashley Monay.
if you weren't, you were you weren't you weren't like this way yesterday, and then you got married, and now you this way. Like, come on, stop it,
Yeah.
stop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like people can be friends with single people. People can uh take advice. Women, I mean not women, married people can take advice from single people, but again, you have to know who you're dealing with. And like I said, you have to know that it's important that both people know. Like, I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to not know the spouse of my friends. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, are we really friends if I don't know them?
Right. Right.
Let's start
Right.
there.
Right.
Um, let's just start there. And I love all of my in-law, my BFF in-laws. That's what I call them. I love all my BFF in-laws, and this is what it is. And
Yeah.
we all in this together. I'm gonna support how I can, and that's that. And I mean, and sometimes if that means calling my friend out or my family member out because they were out of pocket for how they existed in that relationship, and you come to me, then that's just what it is. I'm not going to pick sides when it comes to what's right and what's wrong and what's fair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna support you, but I'm not gonna choose your side all the time because you my friend. You the one closest to me. Because that's
But
that's
it,
that's not fair.
but that's a prime example of it. It speaks to your character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I really think that's the bottom line is the character of your friend,
Right.
right? And then the root of why your significant other or spouse may feel like you can't be friends with a single
Exactly.
person.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I think it does come from a place of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Control.
well, yeah, insecurity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you don't trust your spouse, I'm sure you're gonna feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that ain't a me problem. That's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's something that you have to deal with. Now, what you gonna do? How you gonna act?
Now, if the spouse is doing single people stuff, then that speaks volumes to your spouse. That ain't got nothing to do with the single friend, if you will. Like I
And it
said,
speaks
unless that
volumes to
single friend
you
has
because
negative intentions.
you the one keep dealing with it. So what are you
Right.
how you gonna act? You're the
Yeah.
one putting up with it. So it's like people like to they like to dump that stuff on someone. And it's like, I ain't gonna be nobody's scapegoat. But that's the truth, and that's the fact of that. But yeah, I am a very wise person. They said I heard this on TV the other day, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to go find a study, but they said studies show this was on the news or something that older people uh who tend to forget things do so because they have a lot, they've learned a lot, they've
They're
experienced a lot,
geniuses.
and they're no this is wisdom.
Mm.
Now, I ain't no genius child, but I'm smart AF.
Yeah.
I have intellectual capabilities. I am very intelligent when I want to be. That's why I was a straight B student, C student. I applied nothing. That's just basics.
I
I
could
want to
not
be.
deal with you.
When I want to be, I can be.
You ain't right.
I made it through high school a BC student because I did the bare minimum. But if
The
I
bare
apply
minimum.
myself, I'm a BC
Straight
student.
A's.
Period. But yeah, so I'm gonna just say shout out one of my besties, Shanda. So the next time, you try to come for me about forgetting something, because I always forget stuff. That's why your girl is full of wisdom.
He's full of
Understand
wisdom, honey.
wisdom. Cause girl, I be forgetting everything. She be like, girl, you remember? And then she in the same breath, never mind. And then she just have to set it up. Cause I'm like, I don't know why you thought. I don't know why you thought nothing was gonna be different.
Ain't nothing changed.
Ain't nothing changed but the weather. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so I just think people need to evaluate their friendships, first of all.
period.
And then see why your spouse think that. If your spouse is the one that thinks that. But if it's someone else outside of your marriage that thinks that, freaking cares.
Another thing could be isolation. That's the whole control thing. Because I'm not gonna say could be, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
Because that does happen. They try to push those people closest, whether family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
So be mindful of that.
Yeah.
That's a sign of abusive person.
Yeah. Well, I got single friends and family, and got married friends and family.
And that's
the balance.
And at the end of the day, ain't nobody promised to nobody. So don't think that you can't ever be back over here again.
Yeah, and I do strongly dislike the fact that it's almost like like you said in the beginning, like you're this terrible person because you're unmarried, and I don't like that. Because
that's the thing I don't like about it either.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about that before, how society makes people think you have to grow up and find a husband and have these children.
The white picket fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just because you're not married don't mean nothing. I mean, it means nothing. As far as like who you are as a person. Marriage does not define you as a person, in my opinion, or it doesn't define how successful or unsuccessful you are. There you go. That's what I meant.
Nor is the time that you get married. Because I came across on my let me see real quick, on my timeline, on my memories, and I keep doing this because I'm a little oily, and so it's you look, you got to give a little to get a little, right? So I got rid of the pressure, but because I'm a little oily, they right there, they be sliding down. I came across just speaking to that, this post, this was from 2019, and I'm thinking everybody have seen it before. Let me see if I can. Shoot. Well, I'll read it because I clearly can't put the phone up to the camera without switching the screen. So it goes back to like the married thing. Getting your first degree after 21 is still an achievement. Starting a family after 35 is still possible. Buying a house after 40 is still a boss move. Being married after 30, 40, whatever, 50 is still beautiful. Don't let people rush you with their timelines. And if you don't get any of that, then that,
and then what you do?
Yes. If you don't get to any of that, that still doesn't mean doesn't mean anything.
No.
That doesn't mean anything. And that list can go on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Just like this might be a trigger for some people, so I'm just putting it out there for women who have hard time conceiving. But this is just a word of encouragement. There are women out there who cannot conceive on their own, and they feel like they're less of a woman. You are 110 and 50 million trillion gazillion % a woman. women who have lost their hair because of, medications, diseases. You are still a woman, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't let people put their insecurities and their traumas on you. And that's all I got to say about it.
And that's on that.
Period. So, all right, cousins, we're gonna slip and slide up out of here because we got a lot of work to do today. But we will see you again next week. Make sure to follow, to turn on those notifications, hit that little bell so you'll know that, hey, they were already uploaded. We upload every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So make sure you like this video if you enjoyed our conversation. Please leave some comments below, and in perfect Monay form,
don't forget to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend.
Tell them all about the Cuzn Collective. Bye.
Bye.